We had a website, but we weren't really all that focused on it. So 70% of our business, roughly 65 to 70% on any given year before COVID, was wholesale and distribution. And then that remainder, like 35% was the website. We went to 2% direct to consumer, and our sales went up 882%. If you do the math on that, like we crushed it. Like we sold all of Costco's inventory in 3 weeks.
Welcome to Thursday Thursdays at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. My name is Jessie Ott, the host of this podcast, which is all about beverage innovation. I talk with innovation pioneers from agriculture to glass. Thank you for listening, and be sure to subscribe to be notified of all new episodes. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Thursday Thursdays. My name is Jessie Ott, and I have Christa Cotton, CEO of El Guapo, here today. El Guapo cultivates cocktail culture, one drink at a time. Welcome, Christa.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm super pumped. We're really excited. We're going to have a little tasting here at some point. So we've got some awesome products that I can't wait to dig into. So we look forward to that for sure.
Awesome.
Where are you calling?
Yeah, we're going to have a good time. Where am I calling from? I am in my office in New Orleans. It's, where you can find me when I'm not on an airplane. I'm here in the factory.
That's pretty awesome. That is really super awesome. So where are you originally from?
I grew up in a really small town in Southwest Georgia, population 2,600. It's called Leesburg. Tiny town. Don't recommend it, but
I know I'm from a town of less than 1,000, so I understand.
Exactly. Yeah.
24 people in my high school graduating class, and that included one person from the Philippines.
Yeah, I graduated with 49 in the town next door. I didn't even go in my hometown. But
that's the way it is now.
Yeah. Small town. It's a big farming community. My whole family is pretty much still there, but a lot of people know my hometown more for the baseball players and the country singers like Luke Bryan and Philip Phillips, all these people. A lot of people say there's something in the water because we do have like an uncanny number of professional athletes and celebrities that are born and raised in Leesburg, which is strange but true.
Wow, that's really cool. I'll have to come visit and drink some of the water.
I mean, yeah,
Maybe you should sell that water.
Yeah, maybe that can be the next product. But I left for college. I went to Auburn, and then I just kind of kept moving west. And I always knew New Orleans is where I wanted to be. So when I graduated, I moved here. Right after my graduation, I packed a U-Haul and came here about 16 years ago, and I've been here ever since.
What made you want to go to the big speakeasy?
So I have a pretty rich family history here in New Orleans. My parents started a commercial real estate company when I was 5. And growing up, we would spend the summers here, which is counterintuitive. Most people leave New Orleans in the summer because it's a swamp and it's hot and hurricane season and yada, yada, yada. But really to spend time with my parents. My dad was acquiring a lot of real estate here, and we would stay in the quarter. And this is where we spent a significant amount of my childhood. My parents made us memorize the streets of the quarter, and they would give us boundaries of, where we could and couldn't go. And we would meet at a different restaurant for dinner every night. And growing up, I really didn't appreciate that. I thought these 3-hour baking dinners were terribly annoying, but in hindsight, my parents did me a real solid. And today as an adult, people like T. Martin and Ralph Brennan are, mentors, and they're in my business circle. And I'm very grateful for that. But, it all started in my childhood. I had a really strong love affair with New Orleans and the architecture, the culture, the music, the history, food, the great outdoors. There's so many things about this area that are culturally significant. And I know that this is where I'm meant to be, and I love it.
Yeah, that's really awesome. I love that they made you memorize the city and you had boundaries. I mean, did you ever just cross the street just to be like, haha, Dad?
No, I didn't. I was always the rule follower, but I still know the quarter. I know the quarter better than any of my friends. And yeah, I mean, they made us memorize it. But now I have a daughter, and I would never. The stuff my parents let us do 30 years ago, absolutely not.
It's a different world, isn't it?
It's a different world. But yeah, I think back to my childhood and I'm like, oh my God, my parents really just let us go. And I wouldn't do that. But,
yeah, I can't imagine being in a city that size. But back home, it's like, I either was on my roller skates or my bike, and my parents knew when the whistle blew, I was supposed to be home, but if I didn't, they knew the 3 2 or 3 places I'd be, and they'd scoop me up and
Exactly.
make me come home for dinner.
Exactly. It was a different time.
Yeah. Real so it really made an impact those first years on you and
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
connection to the city.
Yeah, and so growing up, I always thought I would be here. I thought I would go to Tulane, and I ended up at Auburn. It was about 45 minutes from where our family real estate office is headquartered. And the idea was that I would be in school and be working towards becoming a part of the family business. And so that worked for about 2 weeks until Hurricane Katrina hit my freshman year. And I wound up spending almost every weekend of my first 2 years in college here renovating. Our family owns grocery anchored commercial real estate. So we don't actually own the grocery stores, but we own the property and then there are tenants and pay rent. And, that was my first college job. And all of those stores were without power for weeks and months on end. They all needed renovation. It was a very dirty, disgusting job, but it made me
Mhm.
extremely passionate about New Orleans and wanting to make a difference here. And that only galvanized my interest in coming here, much to my parents' disappointment. I think they really, especially in the beginning, wanted me to stay in Georgia. They wanted me to work for the family business. And yeah, so I ended up moving to New Orleans sort of against their, what they wanted for me or what they saw for my future. And I really never looked back. And I feel that I know I'm where I'm meant to be and I know I'm making a difference here. And I think that, this is where I'll be forever. I love
No,
it.
that's great. So, do your parents still own real estate then in New Orleans?
Yeah.
So they still have
We
the business?
Yeah, so I grew up in an extremely entrepreneurial family. The real estate company was, the first, and that started when I was 5. So by the time I graduated from high school, it was about 7.5 million square feet of real estate across 10 states in the South. So huge, and I learned a lot from a really young age. And
Yeah.
then after Katrina,
Mhm.
the credit crunch hit. So right as New Orleans was getting back on its feet, it was 2007. The credit crunch was happening, 2007, 2008. So two pretty bad financial situations back to back. And my dad decided that as a family, we needed to diversify. And so, true story, he saw an article in the Wall Street Journal about America's first craft distiller. This guy's name is Seth Fox, and he lives in Atchison, Kansas. And my dad said, I'm going to start Georgia's first legal distillery since Prohibition. And everyone in our friend circle was like, "Sir, you are having a midlife crisis and we need to talk about this." But he got he got in his car and drove to Kansas and found Seth and hired him as a consultant. And I spent my last 2 years at Auburn helping my family and my dad specifically open Georgia's first legal distillery since Prohibition. So we started working on this in 2007 and we did our first bottling in 2009 and it's still a family business today. So my sister ran it for a while. My older brother runs it today and it's called 13th Colony, but everything is branded Southern. So when you see, actually for our tasting today, I have Southern rye whiskey, but anytime you see Southern, like this was my first spirits-based project that I did, and I really, really loved it. But ultimately, I kind of figured out that I love entrepreneurship. My dad says it's a disease. I say it's a personality type, but I really wanted to go off on my own. And so I moved to New Orleans. I worked in advertising for a while. Loved all of that, but wanted to kind of marry my love of entrepreneurship and all of the experience I'd had at the distillery with products and advertising with an agency, kind of put all that together. And so I started making bitters in crawfish foil pots in 2017. And here we are almost 8 years later. And now we have 3,000 accounts across all 50 states and 8 countries based here in New Orleans. Everything's made here. And yeah, growing like a weed.
That is awesome. Are you in the UK?
We have a couple of accounts in the UK. We had a deal that we had put together that we were super excited about, and then Brexit happened, and so kind of fell apart. And we've,
Oh,
I've done couple different meetings in London and a few things in Europe, and trying to like kind of figure out how this is going to work. But especially now with the tariff environment, I think we're kind of just in a holding pattern to sort of see what
yeah.
happens. But yeah, we have a couple in the UK, we have a couple in Germany, we have a lot of accounts in Australia and New Zealand. Canada is a big market for us, and a couple other little things here and there. Yeah, we hope to be able to figure out the UK here in short order.
You're in Australia and Germany and Canada, you said? That's awesome. That is really
Yep,
cool.
I'm going for a conference, but I'm actually going to go see some of our Canadian customers in a couple weeks. So, Entrepreneurs Organization is having their women's conference in Quebec. And so June 2nd, I'll be on a plane heading to Canada.
Yeah, we're not far behind you. We're going for my wife's 50th birthday
Oh, nice.
with another couple whose kids are in camp. So we're going up there for a week and I've never been. So I'm excited
To Quebec or to Canada? To Quebec.
to anything Canadian.
Well, Vancouver is really cool. I recommend it. I also really like Victoria, but I am very lucky with my job that I've been able to see and do a lot in the last 8 years,
Yeah,
and even before that with my family business. But, the travel part is a blessing and a curse. I get tired and often don't know what time zone I'm in, uh,
right.
but
Or
Canada
hotel
is
room.
beautiful. Yes, I have gotten better about I kinda have home base hotels in the cities that I'm in often, and sometimes preferably they're owned by the same people, so less jarring to wake up because they are aesthetically similar,
Yeah,
sometimes, but I'm getting smarter, but it's funny, I walk into hotels in New York and they're like, "What's up?" And they know me by name, which, it's funny. But there's a lot of
that's
cities
good.
now where I'm, like, kinda known when I walk in the door, which is fun.
That's fun. Yeah, that's the way you like it. I mean, it is
Yeah.
kinda nice to have that sense of family, even though you don't see them all the time, but that you see them
Yeah,
often enough.
exactly.
Yeah, that is really nice. That's very cool. Well, it sounds like you really enjoy the travel.
I do. I have a 6-year-old, and I love probably the best memories and things are when she and my husband can come with me. It's not possible to do that all the time, but, she has 9 days of school left, and when she's out, she will be with me a lot in the summer, and she gets to travel with me a lot on the breaks. But, yeah, I did grow up in a family business. I was working probably before it was legal by, you know
We didn't even have seatbelts back then.
Exactly. Exactly, and I love that experience for her because that is very much how I grew up, and I was the, like, booth girl at the big real estate convention in Las Vegas every year when I was, like, 14, and I want the same for my daughter. I want her to be able to experience a lot from a really young age. My whole career, I've been pretty much the youngest person in the room at every job I've ever had. And a lot of that is credit to my parents because they really did give us, all of us, me and my siblings, a lot of opportunities. And they kind of just gave us enough rope to hang ourselves. And so long as we never hung ourselves, they let us keep going. So
Yeah,
it's, paid dividends for me in my career. And, I'm very grateful to my family for everything
yeah.
they've taught me.
It's like a whole new level of emotional intelligence that you gained from all of that so early on.
Yeah, it's funny what I didn't appreciate. And now looking back on it, I'm like, wow, it's pretty great.
Like, I can see a 3-hour dinner would be kind of annoying. I mean, that's a lot to put on a kid, really, but it became part of your culture, and I think that's really cool.
It's crazy. I remember these 3 and 4 hour banking dinners. Like I met Paul Prudhomme when I was my daughter's age and, T Martin. I knew T from when I was, 6 or 7. And now to be, regularly working with her, I manufacture all of her cocktail products, like doing all of these things with people that I love and respect and have gotten to know pretty well in my career, just to know that, a lot of my first time meetings with these people, like I've really known them for 30 plus years. And
That's
that's
so
due
cool.
to my
Well, it
parents. But you can't tell a 7-year-old that a 3-hour banking dinner is cool on
yeah.
there's no iPads at that point. You're just like,
No.
okay,
You're like,
okay.
counting the
Yeah,
minutes to get out of there.
exactly.
Yeah, 100%. So does your family still have real estate then?
Oh yeah, so we do. We still have the distillery. We have the real estate company. It's actually one of the largest in the southeast for privately held commercial real estate companies. So the companies that are larger than us are like very well known names like Publix, their real estate division. So yes, it's large and very successful, and I'm extremely proud of my parents for building that. So
Yeah,
yes, we have the real estate company, we have the distillery, just a couple other little things that we've done as a family here and there.
that's
But
really
the
cool.
primary business is real estate, and then the second business is the distillery.
Distillery. Okay.
Yeah.
So do you get home to visit the distillery from time to time?
Yeah, absolutely. We have a family farm that's about 15 minutes from the distillery. And, yeah, I was just at home last week. I was there 2 weeks before that. So it's not often that I'm back to back to back. We've had some family medical things that we've been working on. So I've been there more often. But Yeah, I try to go back, 3 or 4 times a year, and I definitely, I'm raising a New Orleanian. It's a different experience.
Yep.
She's kind of the reverse. She's here a lot and then gone 3 months, whereas I was gone 9 months and here 3 months. So a little different, but I definitely, the older she gets, my daughter's 6, but when she doesn't like, she'll point at, I don't know, something growing out of the ground and she doesn't know like the difference between cotton and corn. And that bothers me a little bit. I grew up in a farming community and, like need her to understand seasonality and like what's growing. And we come from a long generation in history of farmers and like, I just, need her to get it. So I'm trying to spend a little bit more time with family and in the South and like dusty fields. Like she needs to be exposed to all that too. She needs Mardi Gras parades and glitter, but she also needs like some farm life, a
That's
little
right.
both.
Get her feet dirty.
Exactly. Yeah,
Walk the fields. Yeah, we're
exactly.
from Iowa. We're big soybean, dairy,
Yeah.
hogs, sweet corn.
Lots of
We're
corn. So
snobby.
corn, peanuts, cotton, corn, soybeans are a big commodity crop in Georgia as well. But yeah, so, all those things. So yes, I take her to the family farm and, try to expose her to what I can in the time that I can for sure.
Yeah, that's great. So let's swing back to El Guapo. So you're working at an advertising agency, and is there like a moment where you realize this is the time, or was it a product, or like what happened to kind of start you on this journey?
Yeah, so there was a bartender in the French Quarter who had tried to do this and he was looking to sell. And so he, asked me if I'd be interested. And at first I said, no way. I'm really busy. I have a lot of stuff going on. And he gave me his financials. So I showed them to my parents and my dad said, if you don't do this, I'm going to. And that's sort of the push that I needed to get started. And so, I did a little bit of research and I knew enough from the distillery to understand that if I went the alcohol free route, I could get around a lot of these antiquated distribution laws. And so it really kind of started from that. And then, started talking to food scientists and dabbling in recipes. And, I acquired the trademark, but really, it took me 2 years to formulate all of the recipes and to sort of figure out, the direction I wanted to take. And then right as in 2019, I'd been doing it for 2 years locally and had gotten my woman owned business certification and had gotten really confident in the recipe development and was really happy with where I had landed. And I got a 24 store supplier diversity deal from Costco at that point, and I thought I had it all figured out. And so, I took out a high interest loan, manufactured pallets and pallets of stuff for Costco. And on March 8th, my buyer called. I was with my mom at Charleston Food and Wine, actually, and said, I don't know if you remember the great toilet paper shortage of 2020,
Yeah.
but she said, she said, there's a toilet paper shortage and we're canceling your order and reallocating your space. And at first I thought she was kidding, but I very quickly figured out she was not kidding. So yeah, I went from thinking I had it all figured out to laying off my entire team, cruising bankruptcy websites. All my clients were closing all around the country. My daughter's school was canceled. She was 1 and like climbing on my back. It was terrible. But I very quickly figured out that we didn't have a recipe blog. So I created a recipe blog and put a bunch of recipes on the website and linked the ingredients in the recipe back to the website so people could purchase. And very quickly discovered that desperate parents would pay anything for a good cocktail. Like they did not care.
Yeah.
So
It was
yeah,
the
it
right
was great.
time to
It
be
was, and
online, and yeah.
we had a website, but we weren't really all that focused on it. So 70% of our business, roughly 65 to 70% on any given year before COVID was wholesale and distribution. And then
Mhm.
that remainder, like 35% was the website. We went to 92% direct to consumer and our sales went up 882%. If you do the math on that, like we crushed it. Like we sold all of Costco's inventory in 3 weeks.
Yeah,
So
that's impressive. So that
yeah,
that advertising position that you had helped you kind of refocus on the time where we were at. We were all home trying to reach out to the world because we were in such a weird place, and it all just
yeah.
kind of came together, and you had the right photography obviously for the recipes, and you know
Sort of.
what
So
kind of
like
keys
yeah.
did you learn from that?
Well, so things were just weird and it was like getting hard to like buy milk at the grocery store. And so we have a beach house in our family. And so like I said, my daughter was 1, she was going stir crazy. Everything was closed. So we're like, okay, we're gonna like regroup. And I was making this blog and figuring stuff out, but I would get up at 5 a.m. We were at the beach and I would stage random pieces of furniture and like make all the photos. So like from that period of time, even still, if you go back and look at a lot of the news articles that came out or like even things from that time period that are still on the blog today, those pictures all face a beach, but all of that stuff was staged by me. And it's like random furniture I'd drag outside from like my parents' bedroom or whatever to like be able to take the pictures and make it look different. But a lot of that was just me. And it was like, this is what I have and this is where we are and trying to put it all together and figure it out. But yeah, we grew really, really quickly. And after a very rough March, we had a insane April, which still like not anymore because we've gotten so much bigger, but for years, my biggest month was April 2020. Like we never could beat that benchmark because we really did so much business that April, selling all of Costco's inventory and just like getting through everything. So
So how did you run out of inventory then and had to kind of pull back?
well, so then we just hired a bunch of out of work chefs to help us continue. We were filling up full FedEx trucks. And because we were a food business, we were considered essential and could stay open. So as long as we could do the social distancing requirements, we could stay open. So we would put shipping containers in the backyard to like have materials. We would fill up full FedEx trucks with orders. But the business shifted, like I said, from mostly distribution and wholesale to like by the box, like a bottle or two at a time. So it was a little bit of it was definitely a different business model
Yeah.
and we were kind of figuring it out on the fly, but we never actually ended up missing a single paycheck from our workers because I laid everybody off on a Friday and I was starting the process of paperwork and we got super, super busy the next week. So like everybody made up their time and then some because of all the
That's
website
so
orders. So
crazy.
it was wild. But we
Was
once
there
we got through
something
that.
about what your process was that you feel like caught on somehow? Was it just the
Well,
right time at the right place, or was there a post that, kind of elevated things?
I think it was a couple things. I think people have an affinity for New Orleans and they love it here. And whether, I mean, no matter what, you have a story about New Orleans. And the fact that we make cocktail ingredients, it's like such a specific New Orleans thing. And most people understand like New Orleans knows great cocktails. We know great food. Like there is that love of the experience here. And we're such a hospitality town. People were starved for travel and experiences. Everybody was locked away in their homes. And I think I make the right product in the right city and I think people were also catching on to my background and sourcing is sort of my superpower. It's what I'm known for. And the fact that, I grew up in a farming community and I understand all of this stuff and we really pay attention to the inputs. I feel like if you buy the best quality ingredients, then the output is going to be the best quality that you can make. We don't buy commodity spices. There is no such thing as flavorings in this business. We don't do that if it's not a whole ingredient when it comes in here, I'm not using it. Like that's really how it is. And so people were catching on to that. And then, you know, we grew so much. We tripled the business in COVID. Truly, if the fire marshal had shown up, we wouldn't have passed because I had like boxes, up to the exit sign on the door. One time a possum literally fell through the roof while we were bottling because we were the same block as the Mississippi River. And I think everyone on my team almost had a heart attack. Like I was like, okay, we're done. We're deceased. Like time out. It was horrible. But
That would be horrible. I saw a
I
snake
mean,
yesterday, and I can like totally,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, so I mean, we found a snake in our closet. Like all this crazy shit
Oh,
happened, but it only happened because the port shut down. So like the port is the only thing at that point between us, the facility, and the Mississippi River. So like if the port's dead, like you name whatever kind of creepy, crittery, crawly thing, like they were all coming out in droves, and we were right there. So all these things kept happening. We knew we needed a bigger facility, and then I got connected with my mentor, who's still my mentor today. He had sold his business and stayed at home for 2 weeks. He was with his kids and his wife. I think it took him 2 weeks to realize that he needed a job. And so he got connected to me through other people in New Orleans and we still are incredibly close. He's actually the last phone call I had before we started this podcast, but we talk almost every day. And that's been an amazing relationship for me, but he's gotten me to kind of stop trying to survive today and really start thinking about the bigger picture and like what does this business look like in 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, like how are we going to achieve my long-term goals, and I give him a lot of credit for that.
yeah. No, that's great. I'm glad that you have a good mentor that you can kind of go to for that. I found one also through the NASDAQ entrepreneurial circles, and he's a partner at KPMG, and so he's been really helpful from just having someone that you can talk to about business things that they understand like the back of their hand. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? That they just wanna kinda help, and that mentorship is so important.
I agree. Totally
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah, is there any other, since we're on that subject, is there any other mentors you wanna talk about?
Yeah, I feel like I've done a lot of these different entrepreneurial programs. I've done Goldman Sachs, 10,000 Small Businesses, which I did that in the beginning to get my woman owned business certification. That was sort of the project I wanted to complete when I went through it. So I did that before COVID. And then coming out of COVID, I did a tech accelerator, which makes no sense, but I was just like so desperate for help. I did that. And that's actually how I ended up meeting my mentor. That's like my OG day to day person. And then various other ones. I'm a James Beard Fellow, which I'm extremely proud of. I then I did Tory Burch. And, I've gotten a lot of questions about this recently. Not even 2 weeks ago, I got the 2025 Tory Burch Foundation Founders Award, which is,
That is
such an
awesome.
honor. And I'm so proud of that. And it's just, Tori is just, she's incredible. Her program and foundation, I tell people all the time, if you qualify, please apply. You have to, it's like a women owned business thing, and they have these requirements, and it opens every September. And the foundation really puts their money where their mouth is. And those resources have paid dividends for me. And, it meant the world that Oprah's creative director cared enough to show up at this breakfast and, present me with this award. But to have that opportunity to stand up and, thank Tori, but also give a speech in front of Martha Stewart and Anna Wintour. And, they surprised me. And my idol, Sarah Blakely, was there. And, someone new that I have just absolutely fallen in love with. Her story is Amy Griffin. She wrote The Tell. But to sit there and know that this award was about to happen and have Sarah and Amy magically appear at my table to have breakfast with me is like,
Mind
hey,
blowing. Yeah, that's so
mind
awesome. Well,
blowing.
congratulations. You
Thank
deserve
you.
it. You definitely
Thank you. But
deserve it.
Tory Burch is like A plus, and that
Yeah.
program specifically has really done a lot for me. And I just, I can't thank her enough. I think it takes a lot of people like that love you and believe in you and, want to see you do great things to kind of help move you along. And, even the chairman of Tabasco has been someone who's been instrumental. And, when you text people like this, a lot of times you just don't respect a response. But there have been times when I've been like, hey, I'm looking for this specific random piece of glass. And he's like, oh, I got a guy, call this guy. Like that kind of stuff really like it
Isn't
helps
that
you.
great?
And yeah, but
Yes.
you need people like that. Like these kinds of multi-million-dollar businesses don't just happen. And I think
No.
one of the things I run into constantly is people think I'm the one that has all the answers. No, no, I have built a circle around me. And it's
Network.
really like a consortium of like, hey, I'm having trouble here. And people really do help me. They do.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's great. I mean, it's all about building that network of people. I mean, I think the one thing about this industry is that we're pretty kind people and we all have a passion for the industry. And, most people want to help other people in one way or
Absolutely.
another, you know?
I really believe kindness and leading with generosity and having like an open heart is so important. And I just really kind of, gravitate towards people that are grateful and always looking to grow. It's 100-year life. None of us know everything, and we're always still trying to like learn and improve, and not having a fixed mindset, always having a growth mindset is super important. And I feel like I have hit my stride and I have found my people, and I just try to always stay in that light and positivity. I think has really helped me get really far. And, I hope to always stay in that mindset.
Well, given all your family history, I mean, my mom and dad were always entrepreneurs as well, my grandfather. What it If you could define what it takes to be an entrepreneur, how would you describe it?
Well, like I said earlier, my dad says it's a disease. I say it's a personality type. But if you can imagine your life any other way, then I would probably do that thing. But if this is truly like your calling and like what you're passionate about, then it is a very rewarding journey, but it's difficult and it takes a special mindset to be able to wake up and run into a brick wall every day. And you can't just do it for a month or a year. You have to do it for a long time. I'm 8 years into this and I'm finally starting to see like, okay, my bigger goals can come true. And here's the pathway to get there. And not every business has the same like timeline. There's different time horizons for different things. And some things catch on faster than others, but you have to have that stick to itiveness. And I think that is not something that is innate in everyone. So, I think I picked up a lot from my parents, and my dad is an extremely successful entrepreneur in his own right, but not everything has been successful. I've watched him succeed. I've watched him close businesses. I've watched him go through struggles in different companies. Not everything is a raging success, but I had a lot of exposure really early on. And I was never that child who was like, I'm going to be a police officer, or like, I'm going to like go to cosmetology school. I was always the one who was like, no, no, I'm going to be just like my dad. And here we are.
There you go. There you
Yeah.
are. Now, is your sister, is she an entrepreneur or is she in the family business?
So she works in the family business. I have a younger brother and an older brother. The older brother runs the distillery. Younger brother works in acquisitions. So he is more focused on acquiring new commercial real estate. So he's on the real estate side. My sister works in the office on the real estate side as well. So she's more just day to day management, which is what she likes. And she has a new baby. He's super cute. We have a new little, I think he's 9 months old in the family.
Huh?
He's amazing, little Waverly, sweet baby angel. So, she's busy figuring out new motherhood and, working in the family company. And then I have two other sisters that are not involved in the family business, but, they're around. And it's just, yep, we're all somehow, everybody's like involved somehow. It's just
Somehow.
what are
When,
you doing?
what
Yeah.
part? So
Yeah.
where's the business located then?
So the distillery is in
It's in
Americus,
Georgia.
Georgia. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's very close to Plains, which is where Jimmy Carter grew up and where his boyhood farm is. So it's in Americus and it's called 13th Colony. And then the real estate company is headquartered in Columbus, Georgia. But like I said, it's across 10 states. So the home office is in Columbus, and then we have property really all over. So it
All
goes
over.
from Ohio to Miami, and from, Acadiana, Louisiana, like further than Baton Rouge, like Lafayette area, to Virginia. So I mean, it's a pretty
Yeah, that's
big
pretty
portfolio.
awesome. That's so my undergraduate degree was commercial real estate.
Yeah, you fit right in. Feel free to apply. We're always looking for people.
Well, I could probably use another job. I mean, I'm only launching like 4 businesses,
Yeah, just come on
but
down to Crazy Town. It's great. You'll fit right in.
what's funny about that and having you describe how you're in 10 states is that I didn't like being on kind of the agent side. I knew I didn't want to live in the same city forever. Like that just seems so
Yeah,
boring. And so I'm like, I can never be a real estate agent then. So I ended up in the liquor
yeah.
business.
So we had a couple of issues with my dad owning property in the city where he lives. So that was always his one rule: is we'll never own property in our hometown, and we never did.
Wow, that's so funny.
Yeah, because he
Now,
was
do
like,
they
well, I
live?
mean, they can hate me, but I don't own anything in my hometown, so it don't matter.
Yeah, there you go. So, do your parents live in Columbus then, or do they live on the farm?
So they travel a lot. Currently, my dad has had some health challenges. So right now we've been in Texas for a long time while we work on that. So we've been in Houston for about 9 months. We have a rental house and we're
Oh
working
yeah,
on
that's
that.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
we talked about that.
no, no, no. I mean, he has an amazing attitude, and that's half the battle. And I'm so, so
Great.
proud of him. And we love his doctors. Shout
Yay.
out to Dr. Wolf and your whole team, Lauren, Kelly, y'all are awesome. So he's doing well, but they kind of bounce around. So we do have the family farm. My childhood home is in Leesburg, Georgia. So those are about 45 minutes apart. And then the beach house is a family thing that we've had for a long time, and it's in Florida, like on the panhandle. So they kind of go around. And when my dad isn't sick, they love to travel, and they travel a lot, but that's kind of been put on pause for the last year
Yeah.
while we've been kind of working on some things. But I think, I really can see a point in the next couple months where, I mean, he's like getting excited again and asking questions about,
Yay.
certain European cities, and like, we can do this.
It's time.
Yeah. So I
Yay.
feel good. I think they'll be back in full speed ahead here shortly. So it'll be
That's
good.
fantastic. I'm glad to hear the
Yeah.
good news. That's
Yeah.
great. That's always good to hear. My
Yeah.
mother-in-law's doing well as well.
Good.
Yesterday we celebrated Mother's Day and her 80th birthday.
Oh, that's so sweet. I love that. So yeah, the family health stuff is always, it's so hard, but he has such a good attitude. So I'm grateful for that.
That's you can't help people get that. So you got to
Yeah.
have it. So that's great. That certainly helps for sure.
Yeah.
What about any resources that I know you mentioned Tory Burch? Is there anything else that kind of helped you along your journey that you want to mention?
Yes. So I do this thing in Charleston. I try to go every year. This year, I'm kind of like, am I going to be able because of my dad's situation? But there's a conference for women called FAB, FAB. And I think this is FAB CHS on Instagram. But this amazing woman that I love and respect so much, Randy, runs this thing called FAB. And if you're a woman in food and beverage, I swear it's like the best conference. I just love it. It's the best thing ever. So that's every June, and the dates have kind of fluctuated. It changes. She tries to not have it overlap with James Beard weekends. The Fab conference is like my favorite thing, truly. And then I love James Beard weekend. I'm a James Beard fellow in their women's entrepreneurial leadership program. So I try to stay pretty involved in that. But honestly, Tory Burch has been the one thing that's been consistent for the last 5 years that has really, really helped grow my business. And I'm still very close to some of the women that I have met through that program.
That's great.
I just love it. But then, Idea Village here in New Orleans, I did that program. That's how I met my mentor. But I really believe it's the 100-year life and continuing to just, learn and get better and not just be stuck in, I think I know everything land is the best place to be. And I just
Yeah.
am always trying to improve and meet new people and experience new things. I also recently, well, I say recently, I guess it's been a year, honestly. I joined Entrepreneur's organization. And this was something that my mentor was very passionate about, and I didn't understand it. And I thought it was crazy expensive. Like, I was like, this is a cult. What is happening? And honestly, it's the best. So I started EO. I love my forum. They have been great sounding boards for me. I just did the Global Leadership Conference in Hawaii for EO, and they had Marcus Lemonis like crushed his speech. It was so good. And then they
Yay.
had people like Deepak Chopra, but like the whole experience and just learning everything and surrounding yourself with like minded people has really made all the
Yeah.
difference. And EO has been another resource for that.
That's interesting. Very cool. I have not heard of that before. I've not heard of the Fab either. That's a
It's the best. You got to fab. You have to fab.
it's food and beverage?
Yeah. And it's pretty much every heavy hitting chef, bar person, personality, restaurateurs. It pulls a lot of people from the South, but there's people from all over. And it honestly is my favorite. It's my absolute favorite.
Okay. That sounds like fun. I need to start getting out of my office here, getting out of the studio.
Yeah, look up Fab. It really is. It's
Okay.
so
Yeah.
great.
My wife loves Tory Burch, and we missed the deadline to apply for the program last year.
Well, September.
Yeah, so we'll definitely try for this year, but she she buys a lot of Tory Burch,
Oh,
and for Christmas for her mom and me and my wife, I bought the Tory Burch women-owned business bracelets. Have you seen those?
so Tori gifts those to every fellow. So I think I have like 10 of them. I have them in like every color at this point.
That's great.
But yeah, so Tori's amazing. Her family is amazing. I am obsessed with her brother Robert and his wife Patty. Patty is like life. She has goals. She is everything. So
No, that's so
now
cool.
it's like so fun to like get to know these people. And honestly, like the highlight of winning that award was honestly taking my mom because she hears me talk about all this kind of stuff, but introducing her, like her jaw, like I think she hears me say Tory Burch, but she's like, but is she really there? And then to introduce them, and my mom was like picking her jaw up off the floor was like the
I
best
bet. That
because,
is so
I
cool.
want my mom to experience it.
Yeah. I love that Martha's involved. I love her.
Martha's the queen. That experience, she gave me the biggest hug when I got off stage and she was like,
Aw,
I remember your product. I remember featuring you. I'm going to be in touch. And I'm like, what?
you're
But,
kidding.
it's so great. And she's wonderful. She really is.
Yeah.
Go
I
Martha.
love
Team
her.
Martha forever. Have you seen her documentary?
Yes.
So
Yes.
good.
So
So good.
good. And it's just so ridiculous what they did to her.
But you know what? She's the queen, and you can
She
on
rose
Tory Burch's
above it.
Instagram. Yes, and there's a part of her speech is on, or like she did like a fireside chat with Tory at the event, and it's on the Tory Burch Foundation Instagram. It's so good. But when they asked about her legacy, she was like, "Well, I never saw it going this way, but we have Snoop on the stoop and Martha on the mantle, and I'd rather be on the mantle than in the ashes." So good.
Good, good, good. I love that duo.
Oh, yeah,
Isn't it just like heartwarming, those two? I just love it.
the best.
It
Really,
is.
just the best.
Yeah. That is so cool. Oh, I'm so happy for you. I'm so excited for you.
Thank you.
Moving on. Okay. It's hard to move off Martha though. What about pain points? I mean, you're kind of not going through the typical 3-tier distribution. And you kind of mentioned you're going direct to consumer. Is that still the case? I mean, are you going through regular distribution channels? Like, are you in Specs? Are you in Totals? Are you in all those stores? Or do you have just sort of like
Yeah.
this big online presence?
So what had happened was, so I did this truly like, okay, I can get around all these distribution malls. But then really what happens is, I mean, my brand is expensive, it's high end, but our accounts are the coveted spots. You know, we're on the menu at the Plaza Hotel, we're at Bimmelman's Bar, and these have become my little buddies. And, you know, it's that times a million because it's every major city in the US. And then it's accounts that aspire to be like those flagship accounts. So I'm very, very fortunate. And the people that we interface with are just so talented and creative and amazing. But you do get to the point where these accounts, like Bimmelman's orders about a gallon at this point, like they're not playing around. They're like, they're using it, they need it. And sure, we can ship by the case. And certain people, like at the Plaza Hotel, they don't really care what it costs because they're just going to take whatever they're paying and put it in their
And
drink
add it
costs.
to the cost. Yeah.
Yeah, and if the drink's $30, I don't care because people are showing up at the Plaza Hotel and they're gonna pay it. And I think that's great. But you do get to the point where in bigger cities like New York, we have all of these other accounts who either don't have the bar space or frankly don't have the financial ability to have a carrying cost because they're having to pay on demand for every single thing in their bar. And they don't want a case of bitters and they don't want a case of syrup. They want 2 bottles of this with this and their Campari and whatever. And so ironically, I'm back with all the things I started to avoid. Yes, now I have distribution and I have it currently, I think in 15 states. We're negotiating for another, no, wait, maybe I have more than that. Maybe I have 22 states. I don't know. I have a lot of states. We're negotiating for another 8 currently. And I'm just very careful about the partners that I want to work with. So I'm spending a ton of time in New York right now. One of the issues with going back into this distribution thing has been I really have 3 brand pillars. I care so much about the sourcing, which we've talked about. I care a lot about the sustainability aspect of it. We do live on the front lines of climate change. Storms are getting longer, stronger. The season is going crazy. There's just all these issues. You can't live in New Orleans and deny climate change. So I'm super involved in all the sustainability aspects of this company. That's very important to me. But the other thing is customer service. And I feel like if you really nail customer service and you have a great product, you can keep customers for life. You can keep them coming back. But then you sign up with a distributor and your OG people are like, no, 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 I don't want to talk to Ashley at whatever. I want to work with you. And so it's a lot of time to get these accounts retrained and to work with a distributor and to understand our team is still here and we're still going to do events and we're still going to hang out and we're still going to come and do whatever, but trying to change behavior when you've had people ordering from you for years and years and years, it can
Yeah.
be challenging. So there is some of that going on, which I think
Yeah.
is great. It's a testament to our team, but also, you know, switching mindsets and switching how we do business is a little bit of a challenge in certain markets. So yeah, we're working on it.
Yeah, because is that adding cost for them as well then, going through a third party? No.
No, not really, because honestly, a lot of times it's less expensive because they're not paying the shipping on a case on a like per case basis. They're getting it
Fair.
with their liquor order. So of course the shipping is baked into the cost, but often the overall shipping, because for me to ship a pallet to a distributor is much, much cheaper than, you know, a pallet of bitters is like, I don't know, 500 cases of bitters. If I'm shipping 500 individual things at $12 a case or whatever it is, that is like X what it's going to cost me to ship that pallet. And then for the
Mhm.
distributor to then get it where it needs to go, it's just way cheaper. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at.
So you mentioned that you're kind of expensive. What is your cost to consumer in retail?
Uh, yeah, so the bitters are 19.99 is the price of a 4-ounce bottle, and then the vanilla is half size, so it's a 2-ounce because vanilla in general is super expensive, and that is a partnership with us in Burlap and Barrel. We use the spice company as a single origin spice importer for some of our products, and we do some collabs with them. They're amazing.
That's
So
cool.
vanillas, yeah, they're amazing people. So that's one of the partnerships, and we love them. And then on the mixer side, well, I guess let's do syrups first. So syrups are meant to go with the bitters. So, you know, fancy cocktails at bars or at home, doesn't really matter. So the syrups, the small size is, I want to say 14.99 and the large size is 20.99. So the bitters and syrups go together to make all the fancy cocktails. And then if you want, you know, easy pre-mixed, pre-batch, pour it over ice and add club soda if you want NA or add whatever spirit if you want a cocktail. We have a mixers line that currently has 6 different flavors in it. And that one, I want to say it's 14.99. I could be lying. I don't think I am. 14.99. But I'm going. If
That
this
seem
is
all reasonable.
if Bob Barker's asking me, I'm saying 14.99.
Okay. Bob Barker is asking.
Great, great.
Oh, that's really cool. Well, where can consumers find this product?
Yeah. So we have 3,000 different stores. It's like that's the hardest part of growing a business. So I used to have a personal relationship with every customer, and you can't at scale.
You
It's just not
can't.
possible. So, that's been one of the heartbreaking things. And I still try to keep up and do as much as I can, but it's just really not possible for me as one human, going from a couple dozen accounts to thousands. It's tough. And so you'll find us at fine bottle shops and everything from cheese shops to bottle shops to honestly retailers do great with our products. So we have a lot of gift shops across the country that'll stock us and you'll see us in there. And then like we work with a ton of Michelin starred James Beard chefs. I work with a lot of those people, a lot of my friends. It's like crazy for me to watch the current season of Top Chef because I'm like legitimately like text buddies with like half the contestants. So it's like
The
crazy.
24-hour one?
No, the one
Have
that's
you
on right
seen?
now, Top Chef
Oh.
Canada. Yeah, like
Oh,
I'm
oh,
friends.
oh, oh.
It's like
That's funny.
wild. Like all my
That
friends
is
are on the
pretty
show. I'm like,
wild.
"Ooh, I don't want any of my friends to lose." But it's just funny. Like I used to do some stuff for the show. So like going from that and not knowing anybody to like some of the contestants being customers to now like those are like that's like legitimately my friends are. But it's just like a funny thing to like get
It
to the
is
point in your
funny.
career where all
Yeah,
your
it
friends are
is.
on TV.
Yeah.
So a lot
That's
of
pretty
a lot of
cool.
James Beard Michelin starred restaurants, a lot of very fancy hotels around the country. I do a lot with the Four Seasons team, just, different
It's
things here
great.
and there. Yeah.
And what is your outlook? There's a lot of, people aren't drinking anymore. They've got these
Yeah.
Wegovies and Zepbounds and they're saying they're not drinking anymore. And then you have CBD, THC and all the other things. Like what do you think of all that?
I think that bar inclusivity is a great thing. I think you should have options for people who drink, people who don't drink, people who are in the middle. I think that's the new era. I think you have to have adaptability, and part of hospitality is having something for everyone. We were alcohol free before it was cool to be, but whether or not your drink stays that way is up to you. So all of my products are alcohol free, and we have tons of NA recipes. I actually just taught an entire week of NA classes at Rancho La Puerta. It's the number one wellness spa in the world. So I taught a full week of classes there in March, and Mike White, the creator of White Lotus, came and took my class, which is like insane.
That's
But
crazy.
like super fun. And the NA thing is here to stay. I personally despise the word mocktail. I won't use it. I hate it. I think it makes drinks sound juvenile. There's a lot of like sugar bomby juice things happening where it like tastes like an adult Shirley Temple. And that's like kind of not the vibe. Like you need to have sophisticated, amazing things with depth, and you can have depth and great flavor without having tons of sugar or alcohol or juice. And there's a way to do it. It's an art, not a science, and but there are really creative ways to do it. So I think that's something that I am really good at, and I honestly don't drink all that much. I certainly, different points in my life have drank more. Going through this experience with my dad has really made me a lot more health conscious because I'm watching what he's going through, and like it's bad, and it makes me think about myself and like wanting to be around for as long as possible for my own daughter. But I guess I'm like kind of in the middle, and I don't drink a ton. I definitely for my job, can make amazing cocktails, but I think you can do the same. You can make outstanding drinks and they don't necessarily have to have spirits. Bar inclusivity is what we advocate for. And I think definitely having options for both sides is really important. And one thing I'm very glad. It used to be like if you weren't drinking, especially in the South, everyone was like, "Are you pregnant?" And I think that the days of that, it still happens in my hometown constantly. But as long as I'm not in my 2,600 people hometown, like I think people are catching on. Like it's okay. Like alcohol is the one drug that you're shamed for not using. And I think we're finally getting to the point of where it's like getting normalized to not drink,
Yeah.
and it's fine,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, we can't wake up the next day or,
Yeah,
function.
exactly. Exactly.
But, it's also interesting and you travel certainly a lot and see a lot. For me, in our travels back and forth, Florida, but they barely even have cocktail menus here. I mean, you're lucky to get a basic one, let
Yeah.
alone any mocktails. It's just not here. I mean, maybe in some of the restaurants in Orlando, I'm sure they are. But in Dallas, it's in every single restaurant that we went to. There's a mocktail section. And I'm sure it's like that in New York and, wherever else you're traveling. I don't remember New Orleans, but, we weren't there for very long.
The scene is improving. I would say we have some work to do in New Orleans, the town of the American cocktail.
Yeah,
But
in
it's
Bourbon
it's
Street.
catching on. Yeah, it is catching on, but yeah, there's a lot of work to do, and I definitely think there's something to this, like, early adopters to laggards and, like, the people that are somewhere in the middle and, in bigger, more established markets like New York and Chicago, people look at you like you're an alien if you don't have NA, and, the new wave of that is CBD and THC, like, people want options, and they expect that, and if you want people to pay top dollar and people will pay just what they're paying for a cocktail for just as nuanced of a drink without spirits. And that's like really where I think a lot of restaurateurs are missing the mark is not understanding you can make the same amount of money. It's not about like you're missing money on the spirit sale. It's like if you can put together something that is truly outstanding and people are coming to you for the NA beverage things that you've put together, that's your margin. And you just have to put the time into and effort into developing that menu. Some people do, some people don't.
Yeah. No, I think so too. And I think that, you're compromising a potential cocktail sale versus a Coke or a water,
Absolutely.
and you're just leaving money on the table at this point
Absolutely. I totally agree.
and not taking up that much real estate.
I totally agree. One of my favorite things I've seen, I think I saw this for the first time in Paris a couple months ago, I want to say, or maybe it was last September or January. I travel, so I have a hard time with time because I'm
Yeah, I
gone
get
like
it.
all the
No
time.
worries.
At some point within the last year, I'm pretty sure I was at a place in Paris and I saw this one bar was like mixing in their, like, it was just a drinks menu, right? So, like, you get the menu and it comes out. And the NA drinks were just like interspersed in the menu, just like regular cocktails. And it wasn't even like a separate section or a separate call out. And to me, that's like the new wave of inclusivity. It's like you're not like relegated to like just this one section of the menu. It's just like, these are all the drinks. Which one do you want? And I thought that was really cool. It
I
was the
like
first time
that.
I've ever seen that. Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, I
Thought it
like
was
that a
great.
lot. And that's where we're going because it's becoming normalized so much.
Totally agree. So I really love that. I love that approach. I've talked about that a couple times during like panels and speeches and stuff. But yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's kind of where this is heading. Stop making people feel ostracized or excluded, or even just like asking questions about why. Who cares why? Just like drink what you want to drink, and it is
It's
what it
none
is.
of any yeah, it's nobody's business why.
Exactly.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, is there anything else that you wanna say about the company before we move over to the tasting?
No, we have very cool new cans. I guess that's like a thing. So
Oh,
yeah, we did
yeah.
canned. I have one here. So we have canned for the first time we did canned bitters and soda. So I've been questioned so often over the years, and I have these like little bitty bitters samples that I keep in my purse, and like I'll make a bitters and soda for myself, but people are like, nobody does that. Like Beyonce has hot sauce and you have bitters, but like, can you just make a canned version? And I'm like, no, I don't want to make a canned version. Well, I made a canned version. So it was wildly successful. We sold out of the first run. I mean, in less than a month. I mean, it was like so fast. So
That's great.
we've already done a second. Those pallets are now in my warehouse. So, we're selling through the second, but we're getting crazy inquiries about these like huge Fortune 500s are like, hey, we want to buy this. How much can we buy? So, super excited for that and, working through what that could look like. But it's truly three ingredients. It's our bitters, which I mean, have ingredients, but it's our bitters, water, and carbonation. That's it. And there's no weird words you can't pronounce, no flavorings, no dyes, no aspartame, no chemicals, no nada.
Well,
And
that's
they're all
fantastic.
no sugar added, no alcohol, non-GMO, gluten-free, all the stuff. And so this is kind of my new drink and I
I
love
like
it.
it.
It's great.
And they're fun looking cans too. I love this
Shout out to
love
thank you.
love potion.
Lauren, our art director, is someone that I worked with at my advertising agency, and she's my art director to this day. I'm
That's
fiercely
awesome.
loyal. Yes. I like keep the same people
Yeah.
forever. Yes.
Why not? I mean, it's got your community, your network, right?
Yeah. Lauren's the shit. We love her. Oh, can I say that?
Yes, of course. This is not for children.
Oh, Lauren's great. We love Lauren.
All right, so I'm gonna do this. I decided I'm gonna do a rapid fire really, really fast, and we'll do the tasting.
Yeah. Great.
Okay? All
Okay.
right. If you were a cocktail, which one would you be?
An Aperol spritz. Easy.
Wow. Okay. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yes.
And what's your favorite movie?
Okay, you're gonna make fun of me. So I have like three. When I'm really sick, I used to always watch Dunstan Checks In and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Secret of the Ooze. So like those are what I have my daughter hooked on. But my
That's
real
funny.
favorites are like the old school, like funny ones, like Rush Hour, like random stuff I used to watch. I'm not a big movie person. I don't watch a ton of stuff, but I like the ones that I remember from my childhood.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, like my go-to, I don't know why, still probably is Pretty Woman. So I'm with you on that.
That hotel is a customer of ours, and it makes me so happy. Love the Beverly Wilshire. Yeah, they're
Oh, that's
amazing.
great. Yeah, that movie really had an impact apparently on my life.
Big mistake, huge.
Yeah. Hollywood. Everybody moves to Hollywood. Remember the beginning part of that?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. That's great. I love it. Okay, well, the third and final question is what is your favorite food?
Favorite food, oh my gosh.
Isn't that hard? It's very
Honestly,
hard.
like, guilty pleasure is probably beignets, but, like, every day, I would say the thing I make the most at home is gumbo. Like, that's so basic for New Orleans people, but honestly,
Yeah.
it's a comfort thing.
Yeah. I agree.
So, yeah. And my
Yeah.
grandmother's carrot cake. Love my grandmother's carrot
Mm,
cake. Yeah.
that sounds good.
Yeah, it's real good. It's real, real good,
Yeah.
but she messed it up when she put it in the, like, cookbook for the I don't know, how they used to do, like, the ladies club cookbooks or whatever? She left out some ingredients and it's a
No.
thing. So now we're trying to recreate it and we're like, "This is not."
Oopsie. It's gonna stay secret.
Right, right. We're working on that. That's a work in progress.
Are y'all crawfish people?
Yes, yes, but my favorite crawfish days are the days when my husband agrees to peel my crawfish for me and give them to me because 'cause I'm a
Mhm.
nail person, and so I always
Yeah, I
have these
see that.
crazy manicures, so I don't wanna mess them up, but if I know I have a nail Morgan, my nail girl, if she like, my manicurist is one of my best friends and has been for 12 years at this point, but, Morgan will get so pissed at me because 'cause I'll show up and be like, "I ate crawfish," and she's like, "Damn it." But yeah, if I know I'm about to get a new manicure, I will chow down on some crawfish, but otherwise my husband has to peel them all for me. Sorry, Brian.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the only way I'll eat 'em, but I'm not a big fan. My wife just ate 6 pounds of them the other day. We
That is
so
so good.
we discovered a couple of places, one in Mississippi and one in Louisiana that, we tried. So, it's called the Crawfish Pit in Livonia, which
Yep,
is on 190 on the trip to Dallas, and
yeah.
so we get there, and it's cold and rainy, and they're like, "Yeah, we're not having crawfish until 3:30 today because
So
of the
you
rain."
waited.
No, no, we just did
No.
shrimp. So, and then the next place, I don't know if you've ever heard of The Shed in
Yeah, in
Mississippi.
Mississippi. Yeah,
So
of
they
course.
have expanded upon this place now, and they have a covered event space where it used to be just tables, and then they put in a bar over by the crawfish area. So she got 6 pounds of crawfish there, and then they put in this really cool oyster bar.
Yeah.
And this woman who is running it, I think her name is Sherry, we did this 3 oyster tour, and she's, like, rated number 4 in the world for shucking oysters. And they
I believe it.
literally get
Bless her.
oysters from all over the world, and then she was telling us about this celebration in St. Louis where the top 20 shuckers go, and they will literally shuck 75,000 oysters.
Yeah, it's a thing. I have to wear one of those steel gloves because I'm so worried I'm gonna, like,
Yeah, I
it's like an
wouldn't be
ice
able to
pick,
do it. Yeah, I don't do that.
but I love watching them. Like, it is incredible. It's an art. It's
Yeah.
very cool.
It was just such a fun little stop because we break our trip up and spend a little more time in the places that we're at, and we got to spend, like, 2 hours there, and it was really fun.
It's awesome. Yeah, the shed is
Yeah,
great. They've expanded a lot over the years, and the gas station across the street has really clean restrooms. You can
good to
tell us.
know.
Yeah, I spend a lot of time on I-10. I can tell you where all the hidden treasures are.
Well, I did find one where I found that inside it was, like, almost, a family-owned little store. I'm sure there's many brands represented, but they had chow, and they had pickles, and they had all this stuff, and I have no idea to this day if it was in Florida, Alabama,
Where
Mississippi.
it
We have
was.
no idea. Yeah. So if you ever run into
Yeah,
one of those, let me know because, like, that chow is so good.
that's funny. There's a good one in Foley, Alabama. Stop there and see if it's the same one.
Okay. I'll be sure to put it on the map because it's kinda fun
Yeah. That's why my hair is so big. It's full of secrets.
like that. Alright, should we get on with the tasting?
Yeah, great. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay. So, I'm gonna empty out some of the water that's kind of melted here.
Oh, that's probably a good point. All right.
So
So I'm going to
I am here to take direction.
Okay, so we're gonna make an old fashioned. Okay, so I have a baby Demerara with me. So
Okay.
this is just like one of our little sample bottles. But we partnered with a Louisiana cane sugar farmer, Alma cane sugar, to make our single origin Demerara. So it's literally just Louisiana cane stalks raw. Like it comes to us, we still have like the parts of the stalks and the leaves and all that stuff in there. So we have to like sift through, clean all that. But that's how we want it. We want it as natural as possible. And then we
That's
add a
cool.
little bit of dried orange peel, and it's a 2-to-1. So this is like a rich simple syrup. So you don't need much. So I use like honestly like a quarter of an ounce max with a like standard 2-ounce bourbon old fashioned. You don't need a ton.
Okay.
So I
So half?
use, yeah, like half an ounce, quarter of an ounce is like to me, I don't like super sweet drinks. So to me, a quarter of an ounce, but if you like sweet, half an ounce is great. For a 1-to-1, I would use half an ounce, but for a 2-to-1, because it's more sugar than water, I
Yep.
don't use that much. And
Okay.
then our most popular bitter SKU in the entire lineup forever and always has been chicory pecan bitters. Chicory coffee is what New Orleans is known for. Fun fact, New Orleans is the largest coffee port in America. This is a true story. Last year I did a whole tour of the port, and it's very interesting to see it from the riverside and to learn all about how that operates. But my uncle was our original pecan farmer. So this is toasted pecans. We now work with a couple different pecan sources, but chicory coffee pecan. So I put
Mm,
probably four-ish, 6-ish dashes of this, depending on how bitter you want it to be. And then just because I get these for free, Southern Rye, this is the family distillery that we still operate. So I do 2 ounces of bourbon in mine. And then my
I've
preference
got
is to use
I've got
a maker.
makers.
We love the makers team. They're so amazing. I've worked and been a mentor for the Lee Initiative for a long time with Chef Ed Lee, and Makers is the sponsor of that whole program, which is to get more women in leadership roles in food and beverage. So we love
That's
Makers. We use
great.
Makers a lot too. And then I'm putting one large rock in my glass and stirring this guy up. And normally I would garnish with an orange peel, but I am sitting in our conference room. I'm not at our bar, but
That's
here
okay.
you go. And I'm
Cheers.
using my El Guapo little glass.
That is awesome. I didn't know you had
Yeah.
glasses. That's really cool.
Well, we work with a local glass blower, and he does the glasses and then puts the emblem on the bottom. And honestly, they're really heavy. They're a nice weight, but good gift.
Yeah.
And they're really nice.
Yeah, they look really nice.
So yeah, classic. So this is our classic old fashioned, and you'll see this. It's at a lot of different bars around town. Pretty much all the white tablecloth restaurants use the chicory pecan. Definitely in New Orleans, which you'll see it a lot in New York, Chicago, Boston, all
The
over.
smell alone is amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
But
Thank you.
is there cinnamon?
A little bit. So there's a little bit of baking spice, but it's honestly mostly
Yeah.
toasted pecans, and it gets that caramel note because of the
Mm-hmm.
toasting. But yeah,
That's right.
pecans, chicory coffee, and a little hint of baking spice. We have more baking spice in the holiday pie bitters than we do in the chicory pecan, but there is a
I'm
little
gonna
bit. Yeah, please,
of
by all
that.
means.
I
It
like
gets a
it.
little challenging when you're selling alcohol by the drop. So people are like, how many dashes? And I'm like, the more the merrier. Use them all.
It's right. Oh, this is really yum.
And one of my other favorite tricks for this, I do this a lot. You'll see me on TV shows and whatever doing this. But if you get fresh, heavy whipping cream, especially during the holidays, and you put 2 tablespoons of this in a pint of whipping cream and make fresh, I call it scented whipped cream. But for pies and cakes, and even on top of like chocolate or like a hot coffee drinks or hot chocolate, scented whipped
Yeah.
cream that you make fresh is so good. And I use a couple different bitters, like holiday pie, vanilla, but chicory pecan is my like OG. But yeah, make heavy whipped cream with this, and you won't regret it. But just remember, you heard it here first. It's like my party trick.
Yeah. I think that's a
That's a lot of fun.
fantastic idea.
Yeah,
Does
it's
it
really popular.
does it make it colored too?
Not really,
Colored a little
because
bit?
the volume. Not really though, because the
No.
volume. You would think so, and like when it's still in liquid form, more. But because like think about the volume and how much it
Yeah.
rises, the air and just all the
Yeah,
stuff.
that's
Like
true.
it doesn't. You would
Makes
think
me
it
want to
would,
do
but it
that.
doesn't.
I want to do that now. Make some cupcakes.
I mean, by all means.
I do have keto brownies. I could put them on keto brownies.
But then it would make them anti-keto really fast.
Yeah, I'm not really keto.
There you go. Yeah,
So
there you
it's
go.
okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, this has been so fun. I love this drink. I really do.
Good.
And
I'm glad.
I'm excited to try these other bitters. Do you want to try them, or do you want me to just do it on
Yeah.
my own sometime? Yeah? You
I
want to?
mean, whatever. Yeah. Let's see I think what else do I have in here? I'm sitting in my
I'm so
conference room. What do you have to play with?
I have
I think
the
this one's,
cucumber lavender and love potion.
oh, yeah, those are delicious. Wait, for the cans or
Yeah,
for
for
the
the
actual
can.
bit? Oh, yeah. So cans. So we tasted these as a team, and honestly, I let the team decide what they wanted to can. Both of these turned out like I feel like in bitters format, the cucumber is more prevalent than the lavender, but for whatever reason in the can, I think the lavender is more prevalent than the cucumber. Switcheroo on me, but it's really, really good. And then Love Potion is meant to be super floral and delicious. I personally tend to drink this cucumber lavender. I'll open this one and have a sip with you. I drink this one the most, but the Love Potion is also delicious. And then the next one that we're coming out with, we're working on a charitable tie-in for the next flavor, which we're super excited about. But that one will not have floral notes. It'll be something different. So we have a couple things that we're working on in our lab, but these are just really good and they're just a natural alternative to
Yeah, or put vodka in it.
or that. Yeah. And we've had a lot of people that do say like, "Oh, this is my favorite new mixer," which like,
Mhm.
sure. I mean, like use
Yeah.
it however we don't care. But for me, mom life, it's like you want a sophisticated option that has more depth of flavor and nuance than just like a one note thing. Or you don't want a bunch of chemicals in every, flavored water you buy at the grocery store. And you don't want things that have juice. So this truly is like zero calorie, no added sugar,
Mhm.
easy. And
This is
they are
keto
complex.
friendly.
Yes. Yes. Until you add the spirits. Then
Yeah.
not so much.
Maybe not. This is really good.
Thank you. But these have been really fun to make, and I really avoided doing this for a super long time, and now looking back on it, I kind of wish I had done it earlier than I did. But everything that happens for a reason, and they're good. They came
Well, you
along
were
when it was time.
probably focused on something else at the time that needed your attention too, you know?
Me? No,
I don't
just
know, like
kidding,
traveling to Paris 3 times a year?
dude. The flights. I know I have 3.5 million sky miles, so I know.
Wow.
My dream mentor is Ed Bastian, the CEO of Delta. Like I'm obsessed. He's probably gonna have to file a restraining order because I'm like obsessed with him. But we'll get there. We'll get there. Me and Ed, we're meant to be.
Well,
Yeah.
at least you're talking about it.
I love Ed. If you're listening, I love you the most.
Well, maybe you could share the podcast with him.
I tag him all the time on Instagram. It like bugs me that he never sees it. He doesn't follow me yet. He's gonna one day. He's gonna.
One day he will. One
Yeah.
day.
But Delta is my dream customer and I think there's such a logistical masterpiece. But yeah, that's my me and Ed. We're gonna be buds. It's
That's
gonna
cool.
happen.
I used to fly Delta when I lived in Florida a long, long time ago, and
Yeah.
now we
Well,
live 5 minutes from Allegiant.
Well, you do have to do what works for the city you live in because people are always
Yeah.
asking me about that specifically, like, "How did I do that? How did I get that many miles?" But I grew up in Georgia, like, that's our
Yep.
hometown airline. So,
Yep. Because
yeah,
that was my territory. So I had 70,000 Delta miles, and I didn't use them, and I lost them.
mine never expire. Um,
Not
I,
anymore.
no, no, but yeah, I mean, it's like a game. At this point, I only have 1.5 million in my million miler account, so that's how many I've flown. But I have to get to 5 million because that's how you get lifetime 360 membership. So I'm like super focused on that. So you're like, how do you not get annoyed by travel? And I'm like, because I'm trying to get my lifetime 360, obviously.
Yeah. We're doing the same. We have American Airlines card, but we also have Marriott points, and so we're trying to get the lifer
Yeah.
or gold or whatever executive platinum thing it is.
Yeah. You get
Because
it. You
make
understand.
your money work for you.
Yeah. I have a special version of crazy. All my friends think I'm insane, but I feel like that's like a compliment. Like if you don't think I'm crazy, I'm not doing a good job. So
Well, what did you call entrepreneurs?
it's a disease or a personality
Yeah.
type, depending on who you're talking to. Yeah.
So there you go. There you go.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I'm an entrepreneur. I don't travel too much, but I'm not you're very on trade, more B2B
Yeah.
situation, but you also love being out there and mixing cocktails and meeting people, and I think that's great.
It's
Hopefully
so
I'll
much
get to
fun.
meet you at one of these events, one of these days, maybe Tails.
Yeah. Tails, that's another thing in the summer. I feel like I always forget about it because it's in my own backyard. But yeah, we're super involved in Tails. Tails is great. Yeah, New Orleans. It's the largest. A lot of people don't realize it's the largest cocktail convention in the world, and it's here in New Orleans every July. So a lot of that is trade only, but they do have a couple of events open to the public. But if you haven't been to Tails or like looked into that, I do highly recommend it. It's a very cool experience.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I haven't been. I think I went to it 20 some years ago
It
and
has
haven't
changed a
been
lot.
back. It has changed a lot, and I love the bar-centric focus that it has and bartender artistry focus. I think that's really cool. And I tried to go last year. I ended up having a cancer thing, but I wanted to set up Thursday outside the convention hall and just randomly interview people. I just think
Yeah,
it'd
you
be so
totally
much
can.
fun and do hashtag Tales News and, describe Tales in 3 words, just silly, stupid stuff like that, and, it's just there's so much going on all the time, it kinda makes your head spin,
Absolutely. I agree.
but, yeah, I definitely wanna get there at some point.
Yeah, come on down. It's a lot of fun. We're
Yeah,
2
catch
months
some
away.
jazz. So, alright, well, this has been a delay. Oh, did we wanna try Love Potion?
I don't have that one on me, but you're welcome to. I just grabbed this one really quickly out of the fridge, but the love potion is really great too. It is a lot of floral components, but
Yeah.
like I was kind of trying to think of like, what is different than what's currently on the market. And we tasted all of the different flavors. And to me, love potion was just so unique compared to other flavors that are out there. And there's so many different components in that. And just the fact that there's no sugar or artificial flavorings and the fact that it can be
Mhm.
that like potent is pretty unique. So that's why we chose that one. But it's definitely delicious.
It is so fun, and it says on the can, rose, jasmine, lavender, chamomile, and hibiscus, and I swear, like, there's a layering effect in there, and you hit every single flavor in there. Like, you definitely know that they're in there. It's really cool.
The labor of love. It's super cool. And all of those come to us as whole flowers. And so, I mean, they're dried, but like there's a whole botanical process of things that we do. And we have such specialized equipment at this point that we're able to get more sophisticated and like more potent extractions done just because of the equipment that we've developed and acquired over time. But yeah, the love potion is special. It's special as bitters and it's great as a bitters and soda, but I'm really proud of that one.
Yeah, well done.
Thank you.
It's all really good. I'm super impressed.
Thank you. Thank
I'm
you.
super
You're very
stoked
kind.
about you and all your success and
Thank
nailed it
you.
with Tory Burch, and you're such good friends with them. I mean, that's just kind of shows you the kind of person that you are and your network and the communities that you build, with your
Thank you.
team and your company. And it's been such a delight interviewing you. I had so much fun,
Thank
and
you.
I wish you all the best. And
Thank
hopefully
you
we
so
can
much.
meet meet somewhere.
Yeah. It's on I-10. We'll just pull over at the same exit. But yeah, just
Yeah,
let me know
eat some
if you're in
barbecue.
town. Yeah. I feel like I'm never really here like I'm here, there, and everywhere. But
Yeah.
yeah, when you're in New Orleans, definitely let me know. And thank you so much for having me. I appreciate the opportunity to be here and to tell my story. So thank you. And then if people want to figure out how to follow the brand or see what we're doing, we're at El Guapo Bitters on Instagram, which is where we're the most active. And then you can sign up for our newsletter and browse different products or purchase on our website, elguapobitters.com. And then to follow my personal entrepreneurial journey, you will find me on Instagram at hurricane_Christa. And my name is
Nice.
CH, Christ with an A on the end.
Nice. Okay. Excellent. Well, I did sign up for your newsletter today.
Well, good. Well, tomorrow morning, the recap of everything that happened in March and April is coming out. And then we'll do some other stuff for May since we're still trying to grapple with everything that happened in New York. So we're trying to get everything together. But yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff happening. So you'll be getting some cool newsletters coming out soon.
All right. Yeah, I got to get mine out too. I'm a little behind.
I
It's
know it's
hard to
hard to
do
keep up with the writing.
when you're by yourself. It's.
Absolutely. I agree.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah. You know.
I do. Yeah. Awesome.
Well, as Howard would say, you said it all.
Well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here.
Yeah, thank you so much. Okay, I'll let you get back to it. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Produced by Fedora J Productions. Tune in next Thursday and have a great week.